is a very big issue. Personalities is a very big issue. Ladies by nature are smarter than men. I've seen men that don't care about what their wife makes, and then tomorrow they die suicide because they want to be the man. Then why is the wife together? Why are you guys Christian? Nobody knows what happens in a marriage except the two parties. But once you discover who you are and you're working your purpose, it's a different ball game, because we all have purpose and we all have assignments. Even though I have that in me, I'm more of melancholic. I'm male Sam. The melancholic in me is dominant. Why the sanguine in me is recessive. And more importantly is this: in marriage, right? It is not the quality. It is not the quantity of the years that matters, but rather the quality. That means you have to define what you want in life.
So the other day, we were having this conversation, especially when I told you about Bill Gates getting divorced, and I was like, is marriage even worth it these days? Like, back in the days, there were no, especially with the advent of internet, industrial revolution, tech revolution, birth control pills, so many factors are now coming into marriage. And then I was like, is it even worth it to get married these days? Because people will say, oh, back in the days you need money to even get married. Like, if you have money, then you become successful. You go, at least you have a very high chance of having a successful marriage. But this guy is a billionaire. He's getting divorced, and we have younger folks. A lot of people have called me. They're like, man, I don't know, man, just keep doing what you're doing. Whatever happens. So I'm like, is it even worth it these days? And then you said something about the different personalities in marriage, and I think that was the first time I would ever hear something like that. And I don't know if you would have the if time permits, I would like you to actually elaborate on that. But or even right away, right on, you could just tell us, what do you think about this thing in general, and what are these different personalities that you've noticed that you will want to pinpoint on, and is marriage even really worth it these days? Or what are the advice you will give to young people out there?
Okay. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm truly humbled and honored to be here this evening. At least, who am I? You're treating me like an august personality. But again, I appreciate the support and love. Yeah, with respect to your question, I want to say this, okay, before I talk about the personality. So depending on what you're literally looking at for. The problem we have in the world is that most times people do not celebrate good marriages. People only celebrate the marriages that did not really work out. So I think it's high time people need to celebrate good marriages. People who have been having good marriages don't come out to celebrate. That is why whenever you say any marriage packed up, the whole world hears this, because evil flies faster than good things. That is just the reality of life. But then more importantly is this: in marriage, right? It is not the quality, it is not the quantity of the years that matters, but rather the quality of the years. That's what makes the difference. It may surprise you to know that this divorce issue has started since 2019 with Bill Gates and the wife. Probably what happened with Espagne, the guy who was in jail, that what led to all this. But the whole world did not know until a few days ago, about 2 weeks ago, when the whole world then heard the news. So again, like I told you last time we spoke, that nobody knows what happens in a marriage except the two parties. It's only what they told us. That's what we hear. So even though we want to talk about personalities in marriage, there might be more to it. Because guess what? This lady in question had a cause she is passionate about: women and young girls. And then for a man who is quote unquote called a rapist or whatever, and then my husband is like, so I don't understand it. There's something I don't get it. So this is a cause that she literally believed it, and maybe she could not reconcile that issue with her husband. Maybe there's another issue that has been there, but it's lying under the carpet. So everybody is different. That's why when I talk about personalities in marriage, I let you know that there are things that I cannot take in a man. It's a thing a lady cannot take from a man. But this was the last straw that brought the camel's back. So even though I'm going to talk about personalities in marriage, somebody is choleric, phlegmatic, sanguine, and melancholic. That might not still go to the root of the issue. We can talk about colors, the red color, the blue color, the yellow color, and the red color. These are the 4 colors in marriage, because each individual has these 4 colors. Just if you have the red color, you're always eager to get it done. Boom, you're always fast. The green color is relaxed. The blue is joyful. So the green color again is life. It's lively. It goes with the red. So they have their strength and their weakness. Same thing with the personalities concept: choleric, phlegmatic, sanguine, and melancholic. They're all different. Okay, so every individual is different. But what I can say in this issue is that nobody knows what really went on in the marriage. Nobody knows. They are the ones that know what literally went on. All right, so there's hardly any way you could pinpoint this what it is, because not even money could save the marriage, and that is what most people fail to understand. People talk about money. Money is good in marriage. Money can sustain marriage, but that is not the ultimate in marriage. The ultimate thing in marriage there is understanding, and there can be no understanding if there's no communication. Because 60% of what lies in marriage is communication. 35% is the body language, and then the remaining one is just spoken words. Yeah.
Honestly, what you just said is very profound, and this is like the very first time I've heard about that. You said something about this choleric, phlegmatic, sanguine, and melancholic. Would you like to deep dive into that? Oh, before you even deep dive, hi everyone. I just want to make sure you guys know who's speaking. This is Henry Ukazu. We've had him before. He gave us a very insightful session, and I know you guys have been learning tremendously from his previous video, and now we are privileged to have him back again. So you could tell us, can you just take a little deep dive into those 4 key concepts that you mentioned?
Okay, so I'm going to start from the sanguine. The sanguine are fun-loving people. They are social in nature. People don't come to them, rather they go to people. They are very funny. They're like comedians, entertainers. They are lively. Okay. Now they also have their weakness. One of their weakness is that if you don't come, they can be possessive. Okay. But if they don't come to you, okay, you might feel they don't really care about you. Okay, so one of the weakness, the strong weakness of those who are sanguine is that people can say that they go over and beyond, like because of their closeness, you might think they can cheat or they can take this for granted. That's how they are, because they're always free. They don't really care as such. They're not really on top of issues, so they're always like lay back, and you would think things might work. As opposed to those who are the phlegmatic and melancholic, people who are on top of issues. They don't take this for granted. They're always well organized, well structured. But for sanguine, no, they make it happen. They're lively. That's who they are. Then we have the choleric. Choleric are business-like individuals. They always strive in activity. They're always fast. People like Oprah, business people. Those who are entrepreneurs, they're always eager to get to happen, and they are easily irritated. This is one of their weakness, right? So if you cannot match up to them, they will leave you by the side, right? So they like to thrive in making sure that things go in a particular way, like they are so focused, so energetic. This is who they are. Now we'll talk about those who are melancholic. Melancholic are reserved. They are perfectionists. They are self-sacrificial. They are laid back. They don't go to people. Rather, people come to them. Now, they are fun-loving people. They are gentle in nature. Now, they give it all out. But when you take them for granted, that is when everything's going to blow up. So they can give you everything that you want. They're also well organized. But when you now push them to the wall, they can react. Now, when I have the phlegmatic, these are the most passive set of individuals you can ever imagine. They are introverts. They are the opposite of sanguine, who are extroverts. Typically opposite of them. So they are well reserved, 100% introverts. They don't go to people at all. They don't. Put them in a gathering, they'll be as cold as you can imagine. They are very, very calculative, right? They are not easily tempered like the choleric people who are easily tempered. But when you push them to the wall, they can bounce back in a way you cannot even in your lifetime imagine. These are the people that you might be making fun of them, making mockery of them, but when they get to that peak, then they can no longer take it. Once they flare up, that's it. You might be teaching on them doing stuff, but the moment they decide, they make up their mind, that's it. But for someone who like choleric, he or she can forget. Sanguine can easily okay, but for choleric and melancholic, once they make up their mind, trust me, it takes a while. These are the people that when people say that they go say that I never believe he or she can come to society, he or she can do stuff because they are not there yet. So they take their time to process things. However, despite these 4 temperaments, most times people have 2 that are dominant and 2 that are recessive. So even though you are a sanguine, you could be a Sam male, Sam call, Sam male, or Sam fleck. Even though you are choleric, you could be called male, called Sam, called fleck, and call San. Right. So 1 will be dominant and 1 will be recessive. So for instance, I could have this sanguine temperament with me. You know, I'm lovely, but I might get into an environment that my melancholic nature will come out. My phlegmatic nature will come out. But the dominant part of me would be the one people see, which is the sanguine nature. Now, I could be a melancholic and I'm reserved, gentle. That's what the whole world see about me. But they don't know I have a sanguine part of me. So when I go to a gathering right now, the way I'm going to speak as the MC of the occasion or the moderator, you'll be like, oh, wow. After this picture, I never saw this guy in this light. Or the way he dances, oh, like, wow. Because guess what? The whole world is seeing my calmness, my disposition, but they don't know I'm a good dancer. They don't know I could sing. All they're saying is, oh, wow, that's just the image. Just like we say about President Obama. We say he's an orator, he talks, but people don't know he has a good dancing skills. Of life, literally.
He does things. I've seen it take steps.
Exactly. So every human being has 2 of these temperaments in them. 1 is dominant and 1 is recessive. So, but if you want to get more details, I would strongly recommend this book by Opposite Attract by Tim LaHaye. Opposite Attracts. You will get more details on it. But this is like, most times when I tell people about temperament, I go into a course with them. But I just gave you the overview because the merits, each of them have a lot of merits and demerits, like at least 5 advantages and 5 disadvantages. You know, I can even go deeper in telling you some male core, like you have the dominant part of you and you have the recessive part of you. Then you also have a very minute part of the other one that comes out. But that is human being for you. Human being is by nature dynamic. When people say you will never know how strong you are until when the only control you have, until when the only option you have is to be strong. That is when you know about temperament. But people don't know that. Like during the Mother's Day, which was yesterday on Sunday, I was speaking about meditation, and I began by thanking mothers, happy Mother's Day. I also had a line, but I said, if you are a man thinking of a baby, I also wish you well. If you're a woman thinking of a baby, I also wish you well. If both of you are together, that would be the best. So why do I say this? Now, sometimes you will think as a single mother, you won't be able to take care of a child because the man is no longer there, but you're doing it. As a man, you never believe you could do all this at the end of the day because your wife has packed up, but you're doing it. So this is where you have to go into your shape and bring up that part of you, because that's all you have. You will never know you have the strength to survive. So temperament is a very big issue. Personality is a very big issue. I do take courses on this to give people details on it. So this is not where I can just give more insight, but I've given you an overview of what entails. The same with the colors. The red color, the blue color, the yellow color, and the green color. If you want more details, you could just check out one of my VTube on YouTube on
YouTube channel.
I have one of these topics I did there. Personalities in marriage, only personalities. I spoke about the red color, the blue color, the yellow, and the green. Then I also spoke about the 4 temperaments. At least an hour I spent on it, an hour. I was able to a little bit give it an insight, but I can't do it like in this session right now. But this is just the overview.
This overview is even highly impactful. I'm just taking it all in. But you made mention of a book. You said Opposite Attract. Just want to be sure that's the title of the book.
Yes, Opposite Attract by Tim LaHaye.
Opposite Attract by Tim LaHaye. I like the way you took the temperament from the sanguine to the phlegmatic. You took it like from the most the liveliest person to like the most introverted human.
Right.
And you mentioned that we have 2 dominant and 2 recessive. Does that mean every human being walking around has those 4 temperaments in them? Or
yes.
Is it that? So every time you see someone, it's like there's a possibility of every human being having the 4 temperaments, or is it that some people have 1, some people have 2, and then
every human being has these 4 temperaments.
Okay.
But just 1 is dominant.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me put it. Everybody has the 4 temperament. Let's say that they're 100% in a human being, right? Most times you only see 1 which is dominant, which can be like 60 or 70 or 80%. So, but once you see the one that is dominant, however, you still have the one that is recessive. So, on the rational point, you will see the normal human being has 2 temperaments. One is dominant and one recessive. But just that in our contemporary world right now, all we see is just 1.
Which is
like the one many people say more about you.
Okay.
Right? Like me now, a lot of people say me that I said I'm a sanguine in nature. But in reality, I'm not literally sanguine. Even though I have that thing in me, I'm more of melancholic. I'm more Sam. The melancholic in me is dominant. Why the sanguine in me is recessive. And I'll give you an example now. Many people don't know I dance. I'm a social person by nature. I do dance a lot. I love dancing. People will see me, oh, this guy is more like a moderate person. He has this Christian attitude to me. Yes, I love my God. I'm a faith person. But I do have that social nature in me. But people don't see it. It's only when you see me on the stage dancing, you'll be like, oh, wow, I never saw this. I never saw this line of you. And I didn't see this part of you. I didn't. But I love music. Like I dance literally, not a great dancer, but trust me, you can't find me wanting when it comes to dancing. But people would think I'm just good for the stage to preach the word of God or to give those that I see like more like a leadership person that has this suit and tie aroma. That is true. But that part of me is what people see most times. But I have that part of me which is a sanguine nature. Like I'm going to be vulnerable to you, right? So when Trump lost the election and Joe Biden was announced, I had to upload the video. We were like, oh, wow. People were like screaming, you dance this great like this? That was just too much. I'm sure another one again. My wife is 100% introvert. When I mean phlegmatic, 100%. But she also have the sanguine part of her, right? Because she's a great dancer. You will never on earth believe that she can dance. She can lift her body. But she is this kind of person that you can't see them dancing in public, but in their clothes shelf, you will be blown. But after that setting, you will never see them again in that way. So every human being has a dominant part of them and a recessive part of them. But the fourth temperament is in them. Sometimes again, I bring in my choleric temperament because a lot of people see me like an entrepreneur. So like I'm very engaged, So when I need to get work done, that part of me comes out. And also have that phlegmatic part of me again, that I can go back to my chef without coming out. You will never know because people see me in different colors. It depends on what I want to shoot to you. And the typical way of knowing this is through Instagram, on social media. People only post what they want to see, but you don't see the other part of them. That's what it is. So I might end this thing right now, and then tomorrow, go right here now, I'll be a different shape entirely. I might be in a different mood. And those who see me in that environment will be like, oh, wow. Wow. And that's it. But every human being has those four temperaments. One is dominant, one is recessive, and then the other two depends on when the environment makes itself available.
This is so fundamental, especially when it comes to you mastering yourself. If it's very beneficial if you know that, what, I think I'm a phlegmatic person. I am, like, when you're in the leadership, you could be like, okay, I'm a choleric person, and if you're this lively person, you could be a sanguine person. And I think it's also beneficial to be able to like identify it in others. So when you see this person, you'll be like, okay, maybe this person is a sanguine, but you know yourself that you're a whatever, sanguine, choleric. Now, my question is, when it comes to pairing up, based on your observation, who do you think pairs better with each other? Do you think two choleric work better, or two phlegmatic, or maybe a sanguine and a phlegmatic? At the end of the day, even though they are both on the extreme side of the spectrum, they could find a place to work? Or is it that what matters is just knowing this person and knowing yourself, and then maybe figuring out how you guys work together? But based on your own observation, which pair works better the most?
Well, that's an interesting question to answer because this is just the irony of life and the mystery of life, if I should put it that way, especially when it comes to if you are into marriage or dating. Now, there is no one temperament that fits in all. It doesn't matter where you decide to align with. Now, but what is important is you have to know what you want. And for me, I'm a self-discovery expert. I'm a purpose master. So I teach people on how to discover their purpose or to know what they are, right? So this is where I come in. Now, if you want to get married, for example, get into a relationship with somebody, people will say, oh, why is it that this guy is so funny? Is getting close to this lady that is so calm? You don't know if you understand. And why is that this lady is so calm? Is getting attracted to this man who is like so lively. They cannot match up. People will tell you, you have to marry the person that has the same temperament with you because both of you can blend together.
Yeah, I heard that before.
All these are just assumptions. All of those things are about theories. But in reality, that is not what literally matters. What I would not recommend is, you going, like if you are a sanguine and you want to go close to a sanguine, right? I will say it's true, but more than that, you will go for what you truly want in a person. You look at the qualities you want in a man or in a lady. It doesn't matter what it is. And this is where most people mix it up when it comes to marriage. People don't focus on what they want. They don't focus on what they look at other things, which is not really the important issues. So as a man getting into marriage, you have to know what is it that you want in a woman. And as a woman getting to marry, you have to know what you want in a man. That a man is funny does not mean he's going to cheat on you. That's his nature. That a woman is calm does not mean that she has a good character. She might be a slow poison or a green snake in the green grass. She may have hot temper that you may not see, but when she flares up, boom. She may have an unforgiving heart because she's scared you think she can't do stuff. So you have to know what you want, because this is where you have to know the strength and the weakness of any human being. It's very, very important. I have seen two couples who are sanguine and are living the best of their life because they understand themselves. And it is hard to see these people like that. To see a sanguine marrying a sanguine is literally hard. To see a sanguine marrying a choleric is hard. Right? That's why you see most times sanguine go for melancholy, because when the lady is calm or she's high, the man is calm or high. So when the man is going forward, the lady is bringing him down. And when the man is going down, the lady is bringing him up, depending on the temperaments. So it's a balancing scale. So there is no one size that fits all. It all depends on what you literally want. Is too sanguine can marry themselves. Too melancholic, too phlegmatic, and too choleric can marry themselves. But that is like a thin line, because it is rare. It happens. And when it happens, these two parties will know that two people cannot be wrong at the same time. One person will have to let go. And that is where proper love and understanding comes in. Now, if you don't love your partner, trust me, both of you might feel up at the same time, and nobody's going to hold each other. But when there's love and understanding, one party will be able to relax when the other one is flaring up. Because when two melancholic, when two melancholic are at home, the house will be so calm, so boring. There's no activity. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I have this attitude of, like a sanguine. My wife has this attitude of, phlegmatic, like literally cold. Mm-hmm. I spice up everything up. Mm-hmm. That's who I am. Mm-hmm. Look, I'm the overt person. I'm the overt person, right? Mm-hmm. But she's typically opposite of me. Like, I'm a risk taker, but she's not a risk taker. She's more organized than me, 100%. Okay, but that doesn't mean I'm organized. But I give it to her. She's very, very calculative, very, very tactful. But that doesn't mean I'm not, because me, I take this for granted. I like to stay slow. So you have to understand your partner just to know how to relate to the partner. All right. So you might think that, now, because it's like that, she's going to get somebody who might be well organized, well structured, neat, and stuff like that. But in reality, it's not really work that way. It all depends on what you want in a man. Because some ladies like men who are industrious, who can go out there and make it happen. They don't want a man that will be so calm and gentle, because most people will say, I want a calm man that will be so calm, loving, sweet. Some women are not like that. They want you to be the man. Be the man that you are. Don't be like me. Be the man. That's what it is. So many people don't get it. Some people don't get it. Yeah, I'm saying I'm practical. I'm being vulnerable to you. That's what it is. I don't paint it. I say it the way it is. That the lady is calm does not mean you might be like. I've seen ladies who told me, look, like, I need a man who's good in bed, like literally good, not because you're nice, you just no. At the end of the day, like what happens in the bed, because we have seen that have shown that one of the major causes of divorce is what happens in the bed. That's one of the major causes of divorce. So if you don't please a woman very, very well, it's a challenge out there, especially when she has been exposed growing up to some level of extramarital affairs, or like having fun in life. So if you don't do that part, I say, so all the good part of you, you're a good guy, you're a nice guy, you're handsome, you provide for the family. If you don't satisfy your woman very well, that's a huge challenge right there. That's a problem. And if the devil is so bad to get you, and she goes out there, that's it. Your marriage is packing up, but she will never put it out there that this is a cause. But deep in her heart, that's one of the reasons. So it's a lot that comes into consideration.
Yeah, I think this is where communication, it's very important for communication to come in, because if the man doesn't know that he's performing, he's not performing, how does, because I don't think it should be a difficult conversation between a couple, right? But let's just assume the wife is not communicating and the guy thinks, because I've seen a lot of guys that think they're the boss, they're the man, they're doing it, but then the woman will be like, he's not doing anything. How do you bring it out of her? So you can know that, okay, I am actually doing it, because it's only a matter of time if a man thinks he's doing the work and that's what he thinks, but then the woman is thinking otherwise, but then there is no communication in between them. How do you bring the truth out of her in a way that can help you to improve and also help the relationship to even become stronger?
Oh, that's an interesting part of it, because I'm finding how to really address this, because this question comes in two ways. It comes into sex in marriage and communication in marriage. These are two different issues. Now, but I'm going to try my best to reconcile the two, right? So, if the lady feels that the man is not doing his job very well, and the man is feeling like the man of the house, that tells me one thing: the man does not know his wife or his woman.
Mm-hmm.
As a man, you must know your woman's body. When I talk about knowing her body, it means you must know the right place to click, because what might inspire a lady or turn up a lady might be different from another lady. So you should be able to know how to click the right button. And the best way I can literally say this is this. It's like having a problem, right? Mm-hmm. If you have a key, you have a bunch of keys. If you have the wrong key, you can never open the door, no matter how you try it. But once you have the right key, it's just turn it, boom, it opens. That's what it is. It's like the internet. You click, oops, that is a woman for you. You have to understand your woman's body. Most men don't understand their woman's body. Gary Chapman wrote a very good book, The 5 Love Languages. Physical touch, words affirmation, gifts, services, and time. I always tell men whenever they attend my classes and my programs, that you must know these 5 love languages. Mm-hmm. Every human being reacts differently, right? So you have to know what works for them. The same thing is applicable in marriage. You have to know your woman's body, or whenever if you're dating, you must know your partner's body. It's very, very important. You must know what works for her. You must know her zones that can turn her on. So no matter what you try to, if you've not been able to hit that spot that works for her, she will feel that you're a failure. And that's what it is. Because you did not satisfy her, you did not come down to her message. You've not answered her call. You've not answered the message. You must answer the message. Once you answer the message, then she will take you good. Otherwise, you are just exploring. And once you're exploring, you come back to base, nothing. You failure.
Okay.
That is where I think that communication needs to come in. You need to speak to your spouse, because if your spouse likes you, your spouse will tell you, this is it.
Yeah.
But sometimes some people want you to really discover it for themselves, and you must know how to get across to some of this.
Yeah, I definitely understand. I understand both perspectives, whereby you need to communicate, you need to know your partner, and also sometimes your partner wants you to find it, because when you find it, it's special, right? And if you don't find it, the resentment kind of slowly comes in, and then it might even lead to a divorce. At what point do you explore? Okay, because I know there are some religious factors in this thing, whereby some religion doesn't allow you to explore before marriage, but then some people now do things out of religion and then they explore before marriage. Do you think it's best to wait until marriage before you explore, or do you think the exploration should have happened so that everyone knows, this is who I am, this is who you are, this is what I can deliver, these are your expectations, this is how you want to improve? Do you think the exploration should have been done before or after the marriage? Or when is the best time?
All right. So I said I will take it from two perspectives. By giving you the general rule, and I'll give you the exception. The general rule is the universal rule. And our approach is from a faith-based perspective, because I'm a faith-based person.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to explore until you are legally married, either legally or traditionally, depending on what works for you. You know that truly this is your legitimate, and that's where I stand. However, I have an exception to that rule. That means you have to define what you want in life.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a faith-based person, you follow to what the Bible says or whatever doctrine you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what it is. If you can stand, good. But if you are not a faith-based person and you feel you cannot wait till you get married, it's up to you to now decide what you want to do once your partner decide. Because I've seen kids because they don't want surprises in their marriage, and then they have to explore. Now, this is the challenge that comes in, and I'm going to be practical about it. I once had a program where a lady was a faith-based person, right? And then she said she's not gonna, and she's gonna cool with it. And that's what she did. Guess what? The man she got married to, according to her, she's not feeling any satisfaction. It was not what she was expecting, because according to her, it's just like a medical thing that she couldn't even comprehend it. And she's now regretting, and she's now trying to pull out of the marriage because she's not getting it. So when the news came to me, I said, and this is why I said I'm always practical. I don't paint it. I say the way as it is. If you are truly a Christian and you believe in your God, it doesn't matter what it is. Satisfaction is internal. It is not what the person gives to you. Because guess what? One of the science has proven that when a lady likes you, she easily gets aroused. From me to watch, she easily gets orgasm. But if she doesn't like you, trust me, you could go on excavation, on excursion, and little nothing happens. Because ladies react to emotion, while men don't react to emotion, right? Like men are always attracted by what they see, while women are also attracted by what they hear. So while men can have a sex with a woman and have no feelings, a lady can hardly have sex with you without having feelings. That is why when a lady has sex with you, she has that form of attachment or bond with you. But a man will look at you like, I'm here, I'm done with you. Hello, what's up? I'm done. I don't have, and the lady will not understand it. Like, I don't understand. Like, we have sex. For ladies, it is emotional. Sex is all encompassing for them. So if you say that the man did not satisfy you, his thing was not what you expected, is so little, or whatever you might define it to be, that means you are not really preaching what you have professed to be. Because if you believe in God, you know that everything will work according to God. Is the one that will make it happen. You will love this guy and everything. And now you will not act like a worldly man. So if you know that that is what is going to happen, how about you not explore it before you get married? So you have to discover that most people are not honest to themselves. Look, let me tell you. I once heard a lady told me that she married as a virgin, right? But guess what? The husband is also a virgin. But she said, I enjoy it more than anything. And that is the most, I don't know how to describe it. Because guess what? That is what she feels. Because guess what? She likes this man. You know, but people will tell you, you need to be experienced in this aspect. But in reality, that is not what it is. Because it's all about the feelings, the chromosomes, the oxytocins that comes to it. So when a lady releases, there's some synergies that comes with it before the catalyst or the chromosomes will now react. That's what it is. So it depends on the line of thought anybody wants to explore. If you think you are a faith-based Christian and you believe in your God, stick to your goals and believe in it, and believe that God is going to bring it for you, and then you work with it. It's for good and for bad. But if you think you are not a faith-based person and you want to explore, the choice is yours.
You said something about at the beginning that one of the reasons that sex is a huge factor that contributes to divorce. Are there any other things that contribute towards divorce? Because where I'm actually going to with this is what can be done to reduce the ongoing increasing rate of divorce, especially among young couples.
Well, there are several factors that can lead to divorce. A lot of them. I think there are 10 factors based on one of the research that I did recently, but I think I can only give you 2 or 3 that is coming up to my head right now. But I have to check I have it on my stuff, okay? But let me just put it right there. Adultery, okay, which you can put as sex, okay? That is the number 1 point. When they say the marriage has broken down irretrievably, that is one. Finance is another issue that can lead to the decision of marriage, because trust me, no matter how a lady loves you, okay? So these are the 2 main topics that I can give you on the top of my head right now: adultery and finance. And then again, I can give you another one again, which is communication.
That's
I would say communication is one of the major part of it. Okay, because guess what? Every marriage that dissolves today because these 2 couples did not understand and they could not communicate. Because if you're married, there's a word you can use for your partner. Even though both of you reconcile today and that word has gone out, it will live with your partner, either as a man or as a woman. So there are words that you should try not to put out there, because words are so sensitive, especially when you have a sensitive partner. The words will there. It will always re-echo. So when communication is lacking in a marriage, that is when conflicts arises, because both of you are not able to work on those, agree on a particular line of thought. That is why most people will say communication is everything in marriage. Once you communicate rightly to your partner, you understand his or her body language. You understand the personalities. You understand with money, even with the money issue. Let's discuss issue, because most times people don't even understand it. Why do I say this? Because in money, 3 things are required based on what I teach my clients that come to me. Who provides, who manages, and who makes the money. So now, who provides? It is a man that provides. He's the one that provides as a man. Who manages? The best party who has a good traits to manage the resources should be the one who is more organized to manage the money. Okay, so these 2 factors has to come into consideration for there to be a peaceful marriage, because it is not his money or her money, but it's our money, because we are one. Again, I'm coming from a faith perspective. If you're not a faith person, you could decide, because if you're a faith person, you will know that God made marriage to be one. That when two are joined in marriage, it's called one. So I don't understand when men will say, I am the man, I have to provide. Yes, you have to provide for the family. It's undisputable. I don't understand when men will say, I cannot see what is wrong with my wife's money. I don't check my wife. I have to provide it. As a matter of fact, today, I told my wife that, look, once she starts making money, I'm not going to concern about her money. You know, but it's my duty to provide. But guess what? My money is our money. I told her, I even gave her access to my password to my account. My money is our money. If she is rational enough and she has that faith perspective, she will know how money is also our money. It's not about anything else, because the policy I have in my house is the best interest judgment. However, if I see that she's a kind of human being that is so money conscious and money is going to define this marriage, and I want my peace, I will allow her to be, to keep her money. But I'm going to decide what happens. I don't care whatever happens. But what I say happens. But most times, people don't put this into perspective. The man does not know what the woman makes. The woman does not know what the man makes. And you say you are living together in a house. It's called a marriage. I don't understand that irony. I've seen men that don't care about what their wife makes, and then tomorrow they die suicide because they want to be the man. Then why is your wife together? Why are you guys Christian? So people need to define their lifestyle. That is why communication is very, very important. Even though I make the money in my house, I am going to decide with my wife what's of the best interest for us. Because you have to be honest in marriage. Mm-hmm. It's hard. but you just have to. You know, most times people don't spell this out. They had one thing, it does not make sense. And you're living together, it does not. This is joint something. It's joint. It's for life. So communication is very important. Even in conflicts, it's very important. In expectations, it's important. You have to communicate. Once people fail to communicate in marriage, that's a problem. That is just the beginning of the problem. So that is why I said the three most important issues there is: one is adultery, two is money, finance, and three is communication. There are other 7 factors, but these 3 every things are interwoven underneath.
The world is evolving. The world keeps changing, and now we live in the Western culture. And if you check the statistics, we have more women going to colleges. We have more women making more money than men. The average man into this world makes like about in America. Let's say America now, hypothetically. The average man, which is like the average man, makes around 60K per annum. But then, you know, we have more women that makes 6 figures. And now we have the situation whereby the woman makes more money than the man, and then they are together. How do you, because that will be easy to like manage, because what you just described now is leadership and cooperation in the family, leadership, cooperation, and communication. Now, how do you, if for example you are a faith-based and then the woman is most likely maybe not a faith-based, how do you tackle that kind of scenario, you know, going into a relationship with someone? Is it just to just like, you know what, keep that mindset of, I don't care about what she makes, even though I feel like she's making more, but then I can show that as responsibility? Or should you just be like, you know what, let's have this communication and maybe we can agree on, because I will be frank with you, I don't think a lot of this women making the 6 figures are open to cooperating with you and saying this is our income. That's just a fact, you know. But how would you tackle this rationally and, you know, maybe also in a faith-based way? What would you say about this?
All right, so I'm gonna approach this from a different perspective.
Okay.
It's gonna be, and I wanted a video on it. Okay. What a woman needs is love, and what a man needs is respect.
Yes.
So as a man, if you should love your wife, she's gonna open up to you, give you all. And as a woman, if you respect your man, he will give you all. Just like when a man loves his wife, the wife will worship him, give you every damn thing. And as a lady, once you respect your man, he will literally serve you. He will literally work and give you his paycheck. No man likes to be threatened. His ego is incomparable. No matter how little the man is, he likes to be in charge, regardless of anything. Now, this is where most men mix it up. Most men want to be bossy. I'm the man. Nobody is disputing that you're the man. But you have to understand your wife. Trust me, every woman is easily manageable. But I do tell men, it takes wisdom to manage a woman. Now, ladies are complicated, no doubt. But you have to be a fool to govern them. By the time you want to be smart, you cannot govern a lady, because ladies by nature are smarter than men. That's just what most men fail to realize these facts. That's a fact, because like I said, I'm practical and I'm vulnerable about it. That doesn't mean that I'm not as smart. My wife respects me so much. She respects my intellect. She respects a lot about me. She has my insights so much. But that doesn't mean I respect her. Most days I just tell her what I want to hear from her. I hear from her, but I decide what's going to happen. But more than likely, when they say 2 good heads is better than 1, not 2 heads, but 2 good heads is better than 1. So when they makes more income, then what the man needs to do is to love the wife from beginning. You don't want to love her because she's making 6 figures. already. That's showing how. No, you have to build this up. You don't have to start talking about honesty, faith-based, we are together when you start making those money. Meanwhile, this is something you should have done from beginning. I told my wife from my day one, and I keep echoing to have till date, that this is how this marriage should be. And I have to take the lead. I'm not gonna say I'm the man today. No. Today I received a check today. As the check came in, I gave her some part. It's literally, I have this open door policy. That doesn't make me a fool. I say, so when your wife says that you're credible, she's gonna open up to you. But most men are funny. They hide some certain stuff. I'm not saying a man should have a secret. There's no doubt about it. But there are things that are meant to be on the table. And finance is so stable. This is not one of those reasons where you hide. You don't hide in those issues. So if a lady is making more money more than a man, okay, what a man needs to do is to communicate with your wife and see her own line of thoughts. If that lady is a team player, she will come on board, tell you her concerns. If I tell you I love this, I like this, can we do something that? Then both of you will not have a compromise. Because in marriage, there must be a compromise. Mm-hmm. You must, I'm not speaking from it. There must be a compromise. You cannot have your way all through. No, there must be a compromise. So she might tell you she wants this or that. You have to say, okay, how about we do it this way? If she still insists that she wants her way and you love your marriage, let it be. Because you don't want to win the argument and lose your marriage. It doesn't make sense. Sometimes you have to allow.
That's powerful.
Right. Yes, you don't want to win the argument and lose your marriage. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense to say, I won. No, even friendship, you don't want to win the argument. So if she's telling you she likes this, she likes that, and you've tried to make it work and it's not working, you allow her to be, and then you now manage it once you can. So everything boils down on communication. By the time you start acting, one day she might have a rethink. Oh, this man has been supporting me. This man has been good enough. We can't be doing that. Let me give him this trust. X, Y, Z. She might have it. But if she decides not to come to that table, your peace of mind is incomparable. You cannot trade your peace of mind for anything else. You've tried your best. Mm-hmm. Allow her to live in her cocoon. Spend her money the way she wants. The little you have, be happy. Even give her some of those money. Because guess what? Both of you have been surviving before she started making 6 figures. So do not make money the centerpiece of your marriage. Money should not define your marriage. And even though you have no job and she's the one making the money, you do the dishes, help in the household chores, show her love, do your part. That doesn't make you a little boy or a funny individual. No, you are trying to save your marriage. And I think she will respect you, because let me tell you, men want to be respected, but they don't know that they have to give the woman something to respect. Mm-hmm. They don't know. So you have to give the woman something to respect. Once you give her something to respect, she's going to respect you. You want your woman to respect you, and then you're funny playing with the girls, giving babies out there, you will lose the respect. You want her to respect you, but you're not doing your job to try to see how you can move the family forward by being the leader, by getting a job, by being proactive, by showing leadership. She's not going to respect. Let's be honest. Ladies will generally respect you once you've earned that respect. It's a good manager. She might not allow you to manage the family, even if she's providing. But if she knows that you're a good manager and you provide, he is the one that will manage. I've seen a family whereby the lady makes money, but the man manages. In fact, the lady doesn't even know how the family funds is being transpired. This man was telling me, I literally run the show, because this has built it over time. And this guy is very accountable. All the bills comes, this man, there's these bills. The lady always says, okay, I like this, I like that. And then you say, do you have money in your account? And that's it, because that trust has been earned. So that's why I said it all comes down to communication and knowing the personality of your partner, because every case is literally different.
Insightful. What you said is very, very profound, especially when you said something about when the woman is making money, don't force yourself on her. Just do your thing. If she wants to share, she will share. If not, I've seen that happen on multiple occasions, especially if the woman really loves you or she cares about you. she would definitely do stuff for the man, and that is very, very that's very, very true. One
Yes,
question that
and sorry, let me say this again. One mistake most men do in life is that they always look at their wife's money. The last thing you want to do in life as a man is to allow your woman know that you are looking at her money. When a woman knows that you're looking at her money, she's gonna screw you up. She will definitely screw you up.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think most men really care about how much the woman makes. I don't think any man, when they are about to marry a woman, I don't think they look into, oh, she must be making this certain amount of money. I've never met a guy that makes that a criteria, but I've met women, a lot of women, like, my man must be making this amount of money. So I don't think most guys care about how much when it comes to relationship though. I think along the way, maybe after being with for years, and maybe they've been shouldering so much responsibility, maybe that starts to creep in. But from the beginning, I don't think most guys are wired. Maybe some do, but I think majority of men are not wired to even care. I think men just care about the physical beauty, the woman's feminine, the woman being healthy, and being supportive and caring. Personally, I think that's what most guys care about in their woman. I've never met a guy that says, man, my wife has to make six figures. But maybe, like I said, the world keeps evolving and everyone keeps changing. So maybe now they're adding to that criteria. But one thing that I think we miss is what can be done to reduce this so-called drastic level or this drastic rate of ongoing divorce, especially in young marriages. Like, I've seen people get married and in 9 months they are divorced. Okay, I've seen people that are getting married, like the marriage was going on, and the car just pulled up. The car just pulled up, and this guy came out of the car and they started giving out business cards, and he was like, "Oh, he's a lawyer, and this is a potential business for him," because he knows that most marriages end even before they begin. So, what can be done to reduce this drastic rate of ongoing divorce?
Okay, a lot of factors is involved in this issue. Number one, I'm going to say people need to know themselves. And this is, again, where I come in as a self-discovery expert. I help people to identify obstacles. Do you know yourself? What are your expectations getting into marriage? What are your background? What are your academic qualifications? What is your lifestyle? What do you want in your partner? What do you want in life? What is your vision? These are self-discovery questions you have to ask yourself. Many partners don't know themselves, and they have a different notion of who they're getting married. But you have to know yourself individually first before you get into marriage. When you know yourself, you will not know what to expect in your partner. Now, people get into marriage for different reasons. So just today, there was a video I saw online, okay, by Yele Tochi. Okay, this is a Nigerian artist, a Nigerian celebrity. He's an actor. He interviewed the lady. The lady says, "I divorced my husband in 24 hours when I discovered she's gay."
When he discovered what? When she discovered
that the husband is gay, she divorced the guy in 24 hours. Now, this is one of the issues why we have so many divorces in the world. People don't know themselves. So before you get into marriage, you must we must date and ask your partner so many questions. Who are you? Where do you live? Who are your families, your members, your dreams? This will help you to understand who you're getting into. Most people just want to have fun for the fun of getting married. My friends are to get married, just to have kids. It's not in the mind. You must know who you're getting married to. That's why I come in that area of self-discovery. Know yourself first, and what are your expectations in marriage, your visions. Because if you're a career woman, you want to make sure that you have a man that likes education. That's career to some extent. You don't want to marry somebody on the streets. No. If you're into hip hop music, you don't want to marry like somebody, I want to marry a pastor. It's not going to align. It's not going to work because your values differs. So self-discovery is a basic issue. And then when you now get into that marriage itself, then you now have to build on that marriage by communicating. Because there is no one size that fits all in marriage or even in life. What works for one partner might not work for another partner. You have to sit there and ask your wife, what do you want? She tells you, you don't say what you want. Both of you will now say, okay, how can we make it literally work? That is another issue again people need to know. You don't have to say it will happen in my way or her way. No, you have to. Now, you have to understand if a man is telling you this is what he wants in a marriage, you have to listen. Don't ditch your man. He's telling you this is what I want. And if your wife is telling you this is what she wants, you have to work with her and see how you're going to make it happen. I had with a lady that told me, the man was accusing her that she's sexually active in life, that she doesn't, because she's the one that always initiates sex in marriage, and the man is feeling uneasy about it. But I'm like, that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. The man should be able to appreciate the wife. Don't think that because she initiated sex, that means she's a funny girl on the streets. You are the man, you have to. No, everybody have different things that stimulate them.
Yeah, I don't think that should be a problem.
But so this man took it, and I'm telling you, this marriage is about to back up right now.
Wow.
If I live separately, okay. So the point I'm trying to tell you is this: is that 1, 2 people are already getting in it. They have to define what they literally want, and that is why I have a course I do teach people. Okay, sex in marriage, communication in marriage, personalities in marriage. How a man can attract his lady, how a man can attract his lady, and how a lady can lock his man. Then communication in marriage and money in marriage. All these factors play a very big role in sustaining a marriage, because everybody have different lifestyle or different understanding based on their background, their environment, their personal styles in life. They have different varieties. What inspires someone might not be what inspires other persons. So as you move along, you try to be dynamic and see what's going to make it happen. Because in marriage, right, it's like sitting on a chair. You have to keep adjusting. You can't have one particular, you can't be on one particular spot or true. You have to keep adjusting. The left hand will watch the right hand, the right hand will watch the left hand. That makes it a suiting marriage. So if people can literally understand this whole concept, it boils down to one single thing: communication. And there can be no communication or understanding, because guess what? There can be problem where there is no problem, and there can be no problem where there's problem. Why? Because what might be too big with two parties, how they will understand or solve the problem might be little, and what might be little between two parties, how they will solve it might be big, because a little problem can be blown up, while a big problem, well handled in a very systematic and a strategic manner, can be resolved easily without any problem. So that is why I said understanding and communication are a very big factor. No matter what happens in that marriage, it happens. We saw what happened with Bill Clinton and Lewinsky. The wife forgave him. Nobody knows what happened and why the wife forgave him. Most people will not take it. Mm-hmm. It's gone. You saw what happened with Bill Gates and the wife. Why? Because my husband is going to see a rapist. And there was nothing happened between them, but she wasn't comfortable. So people need to manage some of these issues. So that's why I said, if you're able to communicate and understand, it helps a lot. So it is not a one-size-fits-all. Every case is literally different. That is why in one of my teachings, I use emotional intelligence to help people, because relationship management is very critical to sustaining marriage in life.
Yeah, and this also ties into what you spoke about, making decisions which is in the best interest of the family, not in your own individual best interest. So whatever decision you make, you got to think about the broad, not the broad family, not just, oh, it's me, it's my stuff, I'm the one making the money. And you have to be selfless about basically every decision that you make. And you've said so many good things that I believe a lot of people can learn one or two things. And if they apply it into their life or into their marriage, or if your marriage is about to fail, if they apply, or if they apply those things, I'm sure they will experience a transformation. And I also want to urge you, audience, to connect with Henry Ukazu. Take all of these courses that he's been talking about, it for your own benefit. It's not even for any other reason, but just to, because I think marriage is fundamental. I think marriage is fundamental in the society. I think when we have this unification of two different people, they want to grow on an individual level. And just like in economics, that if an individual can achieve his goal, there will be a societal achievement of goals as well. So if we can keep people in family and keep them growing in family, it will be to the benefit of the society itself. So I am for marriage to last. I am for, because like I said, all this, when I see these things, people are like, man, I don't think it's worth it anymore. But I think there is still the silver lining. I think there's still the shining light at the end of the tunnel. And I don't think people should just give up on marriage because of all the things that they see. Because the fact that we publicize, even the fact that, we publicize divorce in today's world has its own effect on ongoing marriages. People that are still married don't even know how long they will last anymore, because this is 27-year-old marriage we're talking about. When you're looking at Bill Gates, people are like that are like 5 years in, 10 years in, they're still having their own doubts now, because they're like, these guys have been together for 27 years. These guys are the richest people in the world, and we don't know what's going on. But I believe with all these things that you've spoken about, if they can take the time to not just watch this video, but also to rewatch and also to connect with you, they will be able to sustain themselves and their marriages. And even if they're not yet married, they can still learn one or two things to keep their mind prepared, or maybe to even start, asking the right questions during the dating phase of their relationship. Do you have any project that you're currently working on that you want us to look forward to, that you would like to share with us? And if it's still under in the oven and you don't want us to know much, you don't want to, spoil the news, that's fine. But if you want to share it with us so we can all be in anticipation, I'm open to that too. And I believe the audience is completely open to that as well.
Okay, yeah, the program I'm working on right now, I have a program which is coming up next month. I have two programs actually. One is a free masterclass I'm doing this month, and then the other one is for next month. So the one of this month is a free one. It's like a 45 minutes class. I'm going to be teaching people for an hour. The max is how to identify your purpose in life. You see, I discovered that until you have figured out your life purpose and the goal you are aiming for, you are merely existing as supposed to be living. And statistics have shown that 73% of the world, according to Forbes, don't know themselves. They don't know themselves. And then you imagine what is happening. People don't know themselves in the world. Only 15% of the world know themselves. You imagine. And once you don't know yourself, there are so many challenges that comes with it. I was reading an article last week where I saw statistics by National Mental Health in the US. It says one of the leading causes of suicide is because of suicide is one of the leading causes of deaths in America. Now, if you are frustrated in your job, that's because you don't know yourself. Some people are not gainfully employed. Some people are reading a course they don't like in school. Some people are going through many stuffs. But once you discover who you are and you're working your purpose, it's a different ball game, because we all have purpose and we all have assignments. Your purpose was made in heaven, but your assignment was made on earth. So if you're on earth, you have a resource for a purpose. That is why we all have gift, talents, and gift and talents. So I have a program that I'm putting out to help people to literally unleash themselves. How can you discover your purpose? How can you know what is so unique about you? How can you make the right choice that will make you to unleash your potentials despite the mistakes you've made in life? Because it's only when you know what's so unique about you, you will not be able to make the right choice. But if you don't know how to make the right choice, you make a mistake by making the wrong choice. And once you make that mistake, that tells you that you're about to fail. But in failing, that doesn't make you a failure, because you can learn from your mistakes and then unleash your potentials. I'll teach you about meditation and practice gratitude. I'll teach you how to network for success. And I'll teach you more especially how to work with your time. Because this is all different things I'm going to teach on that masterclass. Then I have another one coming up again next month, answer your call. How can you turn your vocation, how can you turn your hobby into your vocation? Okay, how can you work according to your place that you are meant to be? Because we are all born to succeed in life. But you see, many people die with their gift in them. You don't want to die with your gifts. The reason why we have not been able to have the cure for cancer in the world today is because the person with that cure for cancer has not been able to apply the knowledge. Yes, somebody has it. By this time last year, the world was suffering from COVID-19. But now we're having the cure for COVID-19 because the issue has been now been linked to this to a reasonable extent. So every problem has a solution. So I'll be guiding people on how they can literally know some of these things. So if you want to get in touch with me to learn more about my work, I'm literally out there. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or even Twitter. You can go to my website, Gloemi, GLOEMI.com, and it's right there. I'm literally public. So I am a human development specialist. I help people to unleash their potentials. Despite any trauma, any trauma challenge you be going through, I'm going to walk you through it. So if you feel you are stressed in life and you're not happy where you are, I am the point man you need to meet. I can walk you through it, and you will never remain the same again.
Thank you so much, Ukazu. You've heard him, guys. Remember to connect with him, and also remember to be your best self. That's the whole point of everything. If you can show up as your best self into any situation, you can easily tackle any situation. No situation is bigger than you, because when you show up with your best self, you are bigger than any situation that confronts you. So everyone, take care. Thank you for joining us on the session, and thank you, Ukazu, for joining us on the session as well. It's been awesome having you. Looking forward to another session with you in the nearest future. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.